Hi guys, this is Debbie with Wrestling in 60 Seconds, giving you the mini version of the media call. And I have to say, I've got like 3 pages of notes, so you know it's going to be a few minutes. First of all, Tony wanted to keep the call specifically to Double or Nothing. I have to tell you that it was very little about Double or Nothing. Most of the media call was about Collision. Now, we have call-in questions, we had type-in questions, and one of the questions was, because of this third show being on Saturday, one, was he trying to compete with the NFL? And two, would this necessarily create more pay-per-views? Well, he's not trying to compete with the NFL. The Time Warner offered him that time slot in order to do a second show. It was not to compete against an NFL league. Secondly, he said if the fans and if it was feasibly, financially favorable, there could be more pay-per-views, which I'm like, yes. Someone had asked him about Collision about adding a female to the broadcast team because, as you know, there are no females on Dynamite, Rampage, or ROH broadcast team. And had he made a decision about the broadcast team on Collision? He said no, that, he would love to have Caprice Coleman or Ian Riccaboni. He named a couple others. He did name a couple of females. He said any one of these would be great. He had not gave it any thought yet of who it would be. He said that as far as Collision, he was trying to keep more stuff under wraps because he wanted to wait until the time got closer before he started giving details about Collision. He said, but it's going to be a place where you're going to have great matches and wrestlers are going to be built up. I thought that was a great deal. The other thing that I just briefly want to mention is about Dark and Dark Elevation. He said as part of the agreement that he signed with the deal, he had to do away with Dark and Dark Elevation in order for him to get Collision. And he said that, he's bringing people in, for tryouts and things like this with Ring of Honor. But don't think that Ring of Honor is going to be like Dark or Dark Elevation. He says because look who's holding the championship belts in ROH. You have Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli. You have the Lucha Brothers. These are all top wrestlers. They're not newbies by no means. So the other thought was somebody had mentioned to him about All In, and he said that that's going to be like a part of wrestling history because it will be the biggest event ever, but he hasn't worked out the streaming deal yet. And so right now he doesn't know how people are going to be able to get it through streaming services. The other thing that he talked about a lot was Sabu and Willow Nightingale. Let's start with Sabu first. Sabu was a one-time deal, and Tony had talked about when his dad saw Sabu last night on TV, he called him right away because Tony's dad took him at the age of 13 to see Sabu versus none other than Chris Jericho. And Tony was 13 years old. Can you believe that? And Willow, New Japan contacted many wrestling organizations, and they asked for promoters to send people to Japan. He personally chose Willow Nightingale because of the improvement that he has seen in her. But he, you know, it was a huge win for not only Willow, but for AEW too. And somebody did bring up, well, is she going to defend this during the Forbidden Door pay-per-view? And he said he couldn't talk about that because it's not his belt. It's New Japan's belt, you know? And he said that he felt sure that they were going to talk before then. Willow may have to go back over to Japan to defend it. He just doesn't know. The other amazing thing was talks of Sting retirement. Well, that's going to be a huge deal. And he said he was not trying to push Sting. Sting does mention it from time to time, but that's going to be a part of wrestling history too. It's Sting's final match and his retirement. But he's hoping to keep him in AEW after he retires. He doesn't know in what capacity, but people just learn so much from him, and he loves the business, and he has, he's done so much with it, and fans love him. The other thing was, I thought interesting, is that they brought up NXT and Battleground. And somebody said, well, did you plan to have it on the same night as NXT and Battleground? And he was like, no. He said, I didn't even realize that was going on when, we set the dates. He said, but there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. It's kind of like the old days. And he said that, it just makes for better matches, and you get better content out. When you don't have any competition, they can just, put out whatever you want to put out, because that's all that's offered. I want to talk about the Hardys, the Hardy Party. He said today that be sure to check out Rampage, because there is going to be something going on with the Hardys, and he doesn't know if they're going to stay a tag team or trios, but they will be featured in the buy-in on Sunday. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, right? Let me see. I can't remember if I mentioned about Jamie Hager. Somebody had brought up, that she's injured. Has she been cleared? He said for like the last two TV shows, that both Rampage and Dynamite, that they have said that she's not been cleared. She still has not been cleared. And so you're not going to see her on Sunday wrestling. And that's why they've been keep bringing this up, letting people know that she isn't cleared. I think I've pretty much covered everything. Let's see real quick. I think so. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, and as always, bye for now.